Rob, any particular matchups that you're really looking forward to? I mean, the one that sort of flagged me was the midfield battle. I mean, a very young midfield, Jesse Kriel and Damien Delinde against the veteran Mao Nonu and Conrad Smith.
Yeah, another big examination for them. It's creating quite a pleasant dilemma at the moment. The fact that Delinde and Kriel, the two youngsters, have stuck their hands up pretty well in the two internationals that the Boks have played so far this season, does create that little pickle when Jean de Villiers supposedly comes back from his lengthy and very careful rehab. He's presently with Western Province en route up the coast to play the EP Kings in a friendly where he supposedly is going to get another sort of 60 minutes to 80 minutes sort of thing. It does seem as though in his mind, Heineken Meyer does want Jean de Villiers to be his captain still at the World Cup, and we know the qualities he does bring. But at the same time, if Delinde and Kriel give this particular very seasoned, experienced All Black combo some difficulties, then more and more people are going to be saying, well, should we be sticking with these lads?
Yeah.
So it creates quite a pleasant dilemma in many respects. And the other duel, obviously, that I'm looking forward to is Retallick against Etzebeth in the clash of number fours. Two immense young locks on the world scene, going hammer and tongs at each other once again. Etzebeth, fortunately, getting back to a situation where I think he's playing some of the best rugby of his career again. So he's right up there to give Retallick.
Interestingly, when he puts on that green jersey, he seems to be a different player.
Absolutely.
I mean, he didn't have the best Super Rugby season.
Yeah, no, I think he's primed to give Retallick a good run for his money. And obviously the big one is in the pack is going to be Richie McCaw versus Heinrich Brosseau. Garen obviously mentioned his slightly surprised call-up. The one thing that worries me a little bit is that he's a bit short of a gallop. He hasn't played a full game of rugby for quite some time, I think. He's had a lot of injuries this season, only featured sort of fairly sporadically in the first half of the year. So playing in a high-intensity test match on the Highveld against the All Blacks, who are a very sort of fast-paced team, is going to test him. Although he's got a good motor on him, so I'm not saying he won't do well. But don't forget that Francois Lowe, there's been a lot of talk about, oh, well, the Boks don't really have a sort of a blindside bruiser now. But Francois Lowe is not a shrinking violet. He weighs 114 kilos, and he actually made his start for the Stormers on the blindside flank when he burst on the scene in sort of around 2008. So I'm not too worried about any sort of loss of physicality. And we know that Skalkberger will throw the kitchen sink from number 8, or whichever position you play him on the field. Frankly, he will throw his body on the line against the All Blacks. So from a physicality point of view, I think the Boks will still be pretty much up there. And the other thing to remember is that Brosseau is also a very good linking player. He gets involved in a lot of attacking plays, and so does Skalkberger, especially with his little offload abilities these days. So interesting to see what the Boks do, because as Garen says, there is the possibility that the plan is to sort of try and get the ball back from New Zealand. But if the Boks do manage to get sort of some concerted front foot momentum, then I think Skalkberger and Heinrich Brosseau come into their own in sort of aiding any sort of ball in hand philosophy. So going to be interesting to see how the game pans out. But there are some really juicy matchups across the park, really.